Welcome back to the channel where pocket change becomes potential treasure, and today's story is going to blow your mind because we're diving into the incredible, almost unbelievable world of the 2005 USA 1-cent coin. A coin that was once just a penny but has recently stunned collectors and enthusiasts alike by reaching a face value equivalent of $528 thanks to a combination of rare minting errors, historical mishaps, and collector demand that skyrocketed seemingly overnight. And if you think a single cent can't be worth more than $500, then get ready because the details behind this copper-plated zinc anomaly are going to change the way you see small change forever. Starting with the overlooked fact that 2005 was a transitional period in US minting where subtle design inconsistencies and mechanical wear in Denver mint equipment led to a surprising number of variations in the Lincoln Memorial series that year, and while most 2005 D pennies look perfectly normal, there are some rare versions with jaw-dropping attributes like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and even a few with floating roofs or missing designer initials. And these aren't just small quirks for hobbyists to smile at, these are major errors that have driven serious bidding wars at auctions and transformed average-looking coins into small fortunes. But the story gets even more fascinating when you realize how easy it is to miss these traits unless you're really looking for them, like how one of the most sought-after variations of the 2005 D penny features a reverse side with a misaligned die that creates a striking distortion in the Lincoln Memorial, making the columns appear uneven and sometimes even blurring the word United into a faint ghost of itself. And the crazy part is that many of these coins ended up in circulation without anyone realizing it at the time, meaning that right now, one of these high-value pieces could be sitting unnoticed in a jar, drawer, or wallet just waiting for someone to spot it. And while we're at it, let's talk about one especially rare subtype that's appeared recently on the radar of coin grading services, a 2005 D penny with a double die obverse where the date and the word Liberty are slightly duplicated, causing a shadow-like effect that's subtle to the untrained eye but wildly significant to those who know what they're looking at, with authenticated examples graded by top services like PCGS or NGC reaching prices in the hundreds of dollars depending on condition, and even more for coins in mint state red or red-brown grades. And when you throw in variables like off-metal strikes, pennies accidentally struck on dime planches or other blanks, you end up with values that can easily creep past the $528 mark and well into the thousands, especially if they're encapsulated and preserved early on. And one particular case that sent shockwaves through the collecting community was a 2005 D penny that had a bonded pair error, where two planchets were mistakenly fused and struck simultaneously, creating a twisted, layered coin that defied normal structure and fetched a whopping four-figure amount at a regional auction, reminding everyone that minting errors aren't always subtle, they can be dramatically visible, structurally complex, and highly valuable. And let's not forget about the mint mark itself, because even that tiny D has been found to show signs of repunching in certain coins, a condition known as RPM or repunch mint mark, where the letter appears twice or slightly offset, a telltale sign that increases a coin's appeal and value significantly. And as demand continues to rise in the numismatic market, fueled by viral social media trends, YouTube collectors showing off their discoveries, and TikTok videos revealing unbelievable finds in pocket change, the hunt for 2005 D pennies with any kind of anomaly is only intensifying, and it's not just seasoned collectors diving in, newcomers are learning what to look for, scouring their spare change, and even pulling out magnifying glasses and coin loops to identify the next big error hiding in plain sight. And that's part of what makes this phenomenon so fascinating. Not only is it based in real history and tangible artifacts, but it also taps into that universal human desire to stumble upon something rare, valuable, and maybe even life-changing in the most unexpected of places. And when you consider how many 2005 D pennies were minted, over 5 billion, it might seem like a needle in a haystack, but those needles are out there, and history has proven time and again that incredibly rare errors can and do happen even in high mintage years. And what makes the 2005 D story even more special is that it represents a time when the US Mint was preparing for future changes, retiring old dies, dealing with growing demand, and operating under extreme pressures that may have led to overlooked errors. all of which translate today into hidden value for those paying attention. And with the growth of online marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, and even Facebook collector groups, the visibility of these coins has grown exponentially, with amateur and professional sellers alike listing rare 2005D pennies for hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars. And while not every listing is backed by a grading certificate, the ones that are often sell quickly to collectors who know exactly what makes them special, which is why it's so important for anyone interested in this coin to understand what defines true value, condition, rarity, type of error, and confirmation by trusted grading companies. And that's not even considering the emotional and historical appeal of owning a flawed coin from a pivotal era, a coin that somehow slipped through the cracks of an otherwise meticulous minting process to become a coveted object in the world of US currency. And it's that kind of mystery and wonder that fuels the growing obsession with coins like the 2005D penny, proving that even something as small and seemingly insignificant as a cent can turn into a symbol of curiosity, passion, and unexpected fortune. And whether you're a long-time numismatist or someone just starting to explore the hobby, the 2005D penny reminds us all to look twice, ask questions, and never underestimate the power of a tiny mistake to rewrite a coin's destiny. And in that spirit, if you found this deep dive fascinating and want to uncover even more stories of rare coins, valuable finds, and everyday objects turning into historical artifacts, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you never miss an episode where we explore the small wonders that make a big impact. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Next! Today we are diving deep into a coin that's not often talked about but carries immense potential for collectors and enthusiasts, the 2003 D 1-cent coin from the United States, a seemingly regular penny minted in Denver that has shocked numismatic circles by fetching as much as $251 due to a fascinating range of mint errors, imperfections, production anomalies, and historical quirks that have made this humble 1-cent piece one of the most intriguing modern collectibles in circulation. So sit tight as we unfold the full journey of this coin, from mint to marketplace, and every possible reason why it's gaining notoriety in auctions, collector groups, and online marketplaces across the globe, because once you understand the magnitude of its errors and their implications, you'll never look at a penny the same way again, especially not the ones minted in 2003 bearing the tiny but vital D mark signifying the Denver Mint, a location known for both high-volume production and a history peppered with noteworthy minting mistakes that have captivated collectors for decades. And this specific year and mint mark combination comes with a series of characteristics that elevate it from pocket change to prized possession, starting with the most common and widely reported error, a die crack, a flaw that occurs when a die used to strike the coin begins to fracture, creating raised lines or ridges on the surface of the coin, often radiating from the rim or across Lincoln's portrait. And in the case of the 2003 D penny, some specimens show dramatic die cracks, especially on Lincoln's shoulder, head, or extending into the fields of the coin, with enough prominence to catch the eye of collectors looking for dramatic visual appeal. And while minor die cracks may only raise the value modestly, dramatic and well-placed cracks can command high premiums, especially if they cross key design elements, creating what is sometimes referred to as lightning bolt cracks by collectors who prize dramatic eye appeal. But die cracks aren't the only reason this penny is sought after. Cuds, which are die breaks that create blank raised areas on the rim of the coin where part of the design is missing, have also been reported, and these kinds of errors are rarer and more dramatic, sometimes eliminating entire portions of the design such as lettering in the motto or the date. And when found on a 2003 D penny, they can easily push the value over $200 depending on size and placement, with larger cuds being especially desirable. And then we move on to off-center strikes, one of the most easily identifiable errors in all of numismatics, where the coin is not properly centered during the striking process, leaving part of the design missing while showing a blank crescent of the planchette. And 2003 D off-center pennies have been recorded with anywhere from 5% to 90% off-center strikes, with values increasing dramatically based on how much of the design is missing, with a sweet spot often around 40% off-center where both the date and the mint mark are still visible, allowing the coin to be identified while still displaying the dramatic nature of the error. And then there's the issue of double strikes, where a coin is struck more than once either intentionally or accidentally, leading to overlapping images. And for the 2003 D penny, double strikes are particularly interesting because of the large number of coins the Denver Mint was producing in that year, creating more opportunities for such errors to escape unnoticed, and some of the most valuable specimens show doubled portraits, doubled lettering, or even a second strike slightly rotated or offset from the first, leading to extremely collectible pieces that auction for hundreds of dollars. And let's not forget about planchette errors, which are mistakes in the coin blank before it is even struck, including wrong planchette errors where a penny is mistakenly struck on a planchette intended for another denomination like a dime or foreign coin, creating undersized or unusual weight pieces that are quickly identified and highly valued. And though rare, 2003 AD pennies struck on dime planchets have been authenticated, with their silvery appearance and smaller diameter making them instant conversation starters and worthy of high auction bids. And then there are improper alloy mixes or plating issues, especially relevant for post-1982 zinc pennies with copper plating, where inconsistencies in the plating process can cause bubbling, peeling, or discoloration on the surface. And 2003 AD pennies showing plating blisters or missing copper coating are not only eye-catching but are part of a well-documented trend that helps confirm authenticity and error status, boosting their collectability. And don't overlook the rarer RPM or repunched mint mark error, where the mint mark was punched more than once into the die, resulting in a visible doubling or shadow effect that can be seen under magnification. And some 2003 AD pennies exhibit this exact issue, with doubling in the mint mark that can range from slight to dramatic depending on how far apart the punches were. And collectors prize RPMs because they combine subtlety with verification and create a unique story for each coin, often pushing values upwards depending on clarity and rarity. And this isn't just hearsay. There have been confirmed auction listings and sales on online platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Great Collections where verified error 2003 AD pennies have sold for $150 to $251 or more, depending on the type and magnitude of the error, the grade and preservation of the coin, and demand at the time of sale. And speaking of grade, condition plays a huge role in coin value, with high-grade uncirculated examples of error pennies bringing in much higher values than similar errors on well-worn coins, and coins graded by PCGS or NGC as MS65 or above with verified errors can command premium prices, simply due to their pristine state. And when you combine a high-grade surface with a dramatic mint error, you have a recipe for serious collector interest and investment potential. And as more collectors and investors enter the numismatic market, especially those interested in modern US coinage, coins like the 2003 AD penny become more than just collectibles, they become historical artifacts, snapshots of minting processes gone awry, reflections of human and mechanical imperfection in a system designed for precision. And it's this story, this layered narrative behind a single cent, that captivates so many and drives prices into the hundreds of dollars. And beyond the documented errors, there is always the tantalizing possibility of new varieties and undiscovered mistakes, coins still hiding in penny jars, coin rolls, or dresser drawers, just waiting to be discovered by sharp-eyed enthusiasts who know what to look for and have the tools and patience to examine their change carefully. And in this way, the story of the 2003 AD penny is far from over, because every new discovery adds to the lore and expands the known universe of errors for this date and mint mark. And just think, for every confirmed die crack or off-center strike, there could be 10 more waiting to be found. And for every collector out there, this means the hunt is always on, the treasure map never fully drawn, and the reward always potentially greater than the face value suggests. And as long as collectors continue to share, sell, and celebrate these quirky anomalies in numismatic forums, videos, and exhibitions, coins like the 2003 AD penny will continue to rise in both value and historical significance, not because of what they were meant to be, but because of what they became: perfectly imperfect, beautifully flawed, and ultimately irreplaceable pieces of America's rich coinage tapestry. So if you've ever thought that modern pennies couldn't be worth your time, think again, because with just a magnifying glass, a little knowledge, and a lot of curiosity, you might just stumble upon a coin that turns your pocket change into profit. And maybe that coin is the 2003 AD penny sitting quietly in your coin jar right now. So take a closer look, because the next $251 treasure might just be 1 cent away. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of numismatic mysteries, unexpected value, and coin collecting passion, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another incredible story hiding in plain sight, because here, every coin has a story, and some are worth far more than you'd ever imagine. Last Today, we're diving deep into the intriguing mystery of the 2017 P1 cent coin, a copper-plated zinc penny minted in Philadelphia that has taken the numismatic world by storm due to its unexpected value of up to $65, all because of unique errors, manufacturing mistakes, and rare anomalies that have turned this lowly coin into a sought-after collectible and a stunning example of how something common can become exceptionally rare and valuable when a perfect storm of conditions occurs during the minting process. And as we explore the backstory, error details, minting possibilities, and expert analysis, you'll see exactly why this 2017 P penny has become a surprise treasure hidden in plain sight in pockets and piggy banks across America and perhaps even the world. So if you've ever thought a penny isn't worth your time, think again, because by the end of this exploration, you might find yourself inspecting every cent you come across a little more closely, hoping to find that one coin that carries within it the value of history, error, scarcity, and the eye of a dedicated collector. And the 2017 P cent is especially notable because it was the very first time in the history of United States coinage that the Philadelphia Mint placed a P mint mark on a 1-cent coin, an intentional design change made to honor the 225th anniversary of the US Mint. And that alone makes every 2017 P cent historically significant. But what really propels certain coins from this series to the $65 mark and beyond is not just the presence of the mint mark but the unusual errors, striking anomalies, and rare die issues that make them distinct from their over 6 billion fellow 2017 P pennies. And this incredible mintage figure, over 6,160,000,000, suggests that finding a valuable one seems almost impossible. Yet it is this very paradox of high mintage and rare error that gives the coin both intrigue and tremendous collectible value when the right mistakes are present. And among the most talked about errors found in the 2017 P cent are die cracks, which are raised, jagged lines that appear when the die used to strike the coin begins to fracture, resulting in dramatic visual features that collectors love, especially when these cracks run through Lincoln's portrait or appear as spiderweb-like patterns across the coin's surface, creating a visually stunning and unique coin that immediately stands out. And in some cases, collectors have found retained die breaks, where a portion of the die has actually cracked and broken but stayed in place, causing a coin to exhibit raised areas or displaced metal that mimics a three-dimensional relief effect, which makes it incredibly valuable because these kinds of retained die breaks are far less common and signal a very specific and rare moment in the production process. And then there are off-center strikes, another major error that dramatically increases a coin's value, where the design is improperly centered during the strike, resulting in a coin where part of Lincoln's image or the date may be missing, off balance, or visibly shifted. And the degree of off-centeredness can affect the price tremendously, with 10 to 15% off-center still showing a readable date being highly desirable, and 30% or more being a jackpot, particularly when it includes the mint mark and full date, which collectors use to identify and authenticate the coin's provenance and rarity. And speaking of provenance, many 2017 P cents have been found with double die errors, caused when the die itself shifts or is misaligned during the creation process, leading to letters "In Liberty, In God We Trust," or the date appearing doubled, giving the coin a shadowy, slightly blurry appearance that drives collectors wild and sparks bidding wars at online auctions where such pieces often exceed $50 to $65 depending on condition and visibility of the doubling. And another overlooked but increasingly valuable error involves plating bubbles, where the zinc core of the penny has not bonded smoothly to the copper plating, resulting in raised blisters, usually visible on Lincoln's head, jacket, or the field surrounding the letters. And although some may think these are damage from circulation, experts know that uncirculated 2017 P cents with these bubbles can sell for surprisingly high prices because they indicate flaws in the minting process rather than post-mint damage, especially when these bubbles are pronounced, stable, and appear in eye-catching areas. And let's not forget the rare yet significant misaligned die errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike the coin in misalignment, producing coins where one side appears normal while the other may have a rim that's partially or completely missing, creating a tilted appearance that enhances the desirability of the piece, especially in higher mint state grades. And there have also been reports of coins with die chips, where a piece of the die breaks away, causing a blob or raised metal lump to appear, commonly in Lincoln's eye, nose, or mouth area, often making him look like he has a mole, wart, or fang. And quirky errors like these gain popularity due to their novelty and visual humor as much as their technical rarity, making them appealing to a wide range of collectors from serious numismatists to hobbyists who love quirky pieces. And what's truly fascinating about the 2017 P cent is that because it was a one-year-only design, the P mint mark has never appeared before or after on any 1-cent coin. It's inherently more collectible even without an error, but when you combine that limited design with dramatic mint errors, you get coins that are not only valuable today but projected to increase in value over time as more people realize how rare and special these flawed versions truly are, and to amplify that value even further. Uncirculated or mint state examples with errors tend to command premium prices, with coins graded MS65 and above fetching top dollar at auctions and from private collectors, and in many cases, even coins with minor or borderline errors are considered worth grading by services like PCGS and NGC simply due to the heightened interest in this specific year and mint mark combination. And adding another layer of collectability are the transitional planchette errors, where a coin is struck on a planchette intended for a foreign coin or another denomination, resulting in unusual weight, color, or metal composition that defies expectations and increases both curiosity and price. And although no confirmed transitional errors for the 2017 P cent have made headlines yet, experts believe that with such a high mintage, the chances are decent that some slipped through and are waiting to be discovered in circulation. And who knows, perhaps one of those ultra-rare anomalies is sitting in your coin jar, hiding among the mundane, waiting to be identified by a sharp-eyed collector who knows what to look for and understands the immense potential of these small, flawed treasures. And if you found a 2017 P cent with any of these characteristics, especially in excellent condition, you may be holding onto a $65 coin, or more, depending on the error type, strength, and visibility. And in the broader context of coin collecting, the 2017 P penny serves as a perfect example of how history, manufacturing processes, government decisions, and collector interest can all converge to create a modern rarity that punches far above its face value, proving once again that you don't need to dig through ancient hoards or gold coins to find something valuable. Sometimes, it's just a penny with a story, a mistake, and a little bit of magic that turns ordinary into extraordinary. So keep looking, keep collecting, and keep learning, because the next great find could be just 1 cent away from changing everything. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2017 P 1 cent coin and its surprisingly valuable errors, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more fascinating coin stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a discovery that could help you spot hidden treasure right in your own pocket.